brought your mother to court because you claim she committed paternity fraud and lied to you about the identity of your biological father. You were raised believing one man was your father, but are here to prove another is your dad. You've petitioned the court for a paternity test to finally prove the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. McPeek, you say you're positive Mr. Bryson is not your daughter's biological father, and your ex-husband, Mr. Jesse Seaton, is, and you plan to prove it today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Seaton, how do we get to this point?
Well, Your Honor, I just want to start by saying I haven't seen her talk to this woman in 5 years, almost 5 years. The reason that I haven't seen her talk to her in almost 5 years is because she's a liar. I was raised to think that a man named Jesse Seaton was my biological father. He signed my birth certificate, he cut my umbilical cord, and he was awesome. I have since found out that there was another possibility that Mr. Bryson could be my father.
Ms. McPeek, your daughter says she can't even have a relationship with you because you're a liar. Is that true?
My daughter doesn't care who she hurts at all. She's a very cold-hearted person, and she just does not care who she hurts.
Have you lied to her about her father?
No. They could have had DNA when I had her, but Jesse and them all didn't want DNA. So evidently he must have thought he was the father because he didn't want no DNA.
So you're saying your daughter's assertions just aren't true?
No, not at all.
And I can feel the tension between the both of you. It's like neither one of you have looked at the other one. And your mother and daughter haven't seen each other or spoken in 5 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
All
Your Honor.
because of a paternity issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. So how did you find out about Mr. Bryson at all? How did it ever come up?
Back in 2011, I had complications and I needed a blood transfusion. My mom was supposed to make it to the hospital. She never showed up, whatever the reason was. So my grandmother and my Uncle Paul had both donated blood for the blood transfusion, and it came out that they were not, either one of them wasn't a match. So they couldn't give me the blood.
Why do you look like she's not telling the truth, Miss McPeek?
It's untrue.
How do you respond?
Because she's a liar. She always has been. She does whatever she can to hurt anybody. She doesn't have a heart at all.
But is she lying about the hospital saying there's not a match?
Yes, she is. Liar.
Your Honor, I would just like to say my grandmother did submit a statement if you would like to look over that.
Let me look through my court file and let's go to the statement from your grandmother. It reads, I know my late son, Jesse Seaton, is not Jessica's father. Everyone in town knows that Teresa was with Greg while she was pregnant. I don't know why Teresa keeps denying it. I couldn't go years without telling Jessica who her real father was, which is Greg. When my son Jesse started dating Teresa, she was already pregnant with Jessica by Greg. My hopes for Jessica are that she will finally know the truth. Statement from Karen Hutchins.
Karen's never liked me. She's just as big a liar as her granddaughter, plain and simple. She never thought that I was good enough for a son. He could have had DNA at that time, and he didn't want DNA. He said he was 100% sure it was his. And ever since Jessica's been old enough to talk, maybe kindergarten, she's been nothing but an habitual liar.
Wow, that's just very harsh words to say about your own daughter.
You think I don't hurt every day?
Why would she lie about who she believes her father is? Why do you lie about that?
Anything that will give Jessica attention, she will lie about.
So Jessica, can you talk to me about your relationship with Mr. Seaton?
Well, Jesse died when I was about 7 and a half. But from what I can remember, he was the perfect man, perfect dad. What hurts me the most is that this man died thinking that I was his only daughter. So that right there alone hurts more than, you know, the fact that I'm about to get results on whether or not Mr. Brighton or Mr. Seaton is my father. But my mom, however, had told me on more than one occasion that she had DNA done between me and Mr. Seaton. She also told my grandmother, Karen, and when asked about the results, I contacted our local DNA centers and did some research, and they have no DNA on file.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. You say your mother told you the DNA test had been done.
Yes,
But
Your
when you
Honor.
did the research, you found out that there was no test because there were no results.
Yes, Your Honor. And according to Mr. Bryson, she had also told him the same thing.
Did you tell Mr. Bryson and your daughter about a DNA test, Ms. McPeek?
No, everything she just said is a lie. Not one time ever did I tell her that we had DNA. That's a lie. Not one time ever did Greg Bryson even ask if it was his child. If I was not willing to have a DNA, I wouldn't be here today.
So, Ms. McPeek, I need to ask you, how close in proximity were you intimate with both of these men, or is it your assertion you weren't intimate with both of these men?
I lived with Greg Bryson at the time. I met Jesse, and we were friends, and we just started going out as friends, and it was very close in time because I had to go home and throw Greg out, and he moved right across the street from me. So
Wait, you went home, wait, you were living with Mr. Bryson,
yeah,
and then you moved on and met Mr. Seaton. You were friends at first, and that developed into a sexual relationship.
yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I'd like to hear more from Mr. Bryson. Jerome, will you escort Mr. Gregory Bryson into the courtroom?
I'm gonna go right up next to the judge and the witness stand.
Mr. Bryson, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple questions for you. Do you believe you are Miss Seaton's, Jessica's biological father?
Yes, I can guarantee you, Your Honor.
You do.
Oh, yes.
Why do you believe that?
Look at her. She looks like my other daughter. I guarantee you, the money I got in my pocket, she's mine. Secondly, the grandmother, Jesse's mother, told me she's between the ages of 6 and 10, that she knew that that was my daughter, not her son's. Even though Jesse Seaton's on the birth certificate, I guarantee you I'm the girl's father because she knows it. I come home from work, middle of Thanksgiving, there was all my stuff sitting outside. It's snowing. I'd already paid the bills. Her exact words with me was, I was out, Jesse was in, turned around the house and went partying and walked on in her house with everybody else was out in the front yard. And if it wouldn't been for people across the street, I'd had no place to stay.
So you're saying when you came home from work, you had already paid the bills,
Yeah,
she set your
put
stuff
me out.
outside?
Yeah, all my stuff was outside. Her and all of her friends told me I was out and he was in. And people across the street let me move in. She had come over several times and told me to my face, I am sorry that I made a mistake, did what I did to Jesse, but this child I'm carrying belongs to you. This
You
guy-
say Miss
That's a lie.
McPeek told
Miss
you
McPeek,
herself?
Yes, God is my witness. You strike me dead if I am lying. That's a exact word to me. This is your child. I made a mistake. And I never spoke to her again after that. And it wasn't until this girl got older that I knew for a fact. And that's why I'm here today, to prove it. I guarantee you that I ain't her father. And nobody can understand why all the years, 32 years, why I keep a lie going. You know the woman, you know the men you sleep with. Unless you're doing 10 at night, you know who the father is. She deprived me of 32 years of being with my daughter.
And I see how emotional you are about that. I see how much that upsets you. So if you knew that, then why didn't you pursue any avenues?
As a man, what can you do? Nothing is like, as they say, it's a woman's body. If she wants you to be a father, she can force you into fatherhood. And there's nothing as a man you can do about it.
You felt like since Mr. Seaton was on her birth certificate
Yeah, there's nothing
and
to
they
do.
went on about their lives, you were blocked out from really staking any claim.
Right, the only way I even knew is when the grandmother told me, I looked at her, I was like, yeah, I can guarantee you she's mine.
Did you think you were the only one she was having?
Oh, no, Your Honor. There were several other men she had been with. I found this out later on. But, you know, it's,
How many men did you find out she was with?
4. Wow. But, you know, it's the kind of thing, without being rude to anybody, and anybody taking anything offensively, there are those people that need multiple men for multiple things. This young lady was one of them. Nothing bad to say about her. There's no hard feelings. I am beyond anger and emotions. 32 years. She deprived her. She should apologize to her for lying. She knows the woman, you know that is my daughter, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
So Miss Seaton claimed her mother said to her there was a DNA test that had been done.
Never.
And you were not the biological father.
That's a lie.
I asked him if he wanted one when he lived across the street. But he's right. I haven't had no contact with him, no nothing. But me being a mother, but I guess I'd have to say, if I was a father, if I thought a child was mine, why would I wait for 30-something years to even try to step into her life? That's what kind of father you'd have been.
Wow.
Miss Seaton, I want to ask you, have you prepared yourself, honey? Because ultimately, this is about you getting the answers you need, the answers you deserve, the clarity that I know you need to move forward. Have you prepared yourself either way?
I have.
And do
I
you
have.
want Mr. Bryson to be your biological father?
That's a very emotional question. Like I said, Jesse's never done wrong by me. He's never treated me anything other than his baby. So it would be nice to know the truth. You know, I'm 31 years old. I have a right to know. Stop lying. And to be in this position today and to find out that, you know, 27 years later, he's a possibility. I mean, that's as low as it can get.
So, Miss Seaton, what if your mother's telling the truth? If she's just telling the truth?
I would turn to my mom and I will apologize to her for all the things that I have put her through regarding this situation.
All right. I don't think we have anything left to do except get the truth. Jerome, may I have the envelope, please? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In order to determine paternity, we performed 2 tests. A relatedness DNA test with Mr. Jesse Seaton's biological relative, his brother, Mr. Paul Seaton III, and a paternity test with Mr. Gregory Bryson. With that being said, the DNA results determine if Mr. Jesse Seaton or Mr. Bryson is the biological father. These are the results. In the case of Seaton versus McPeek, when it comes to 31-year-old Jessica Seaton, and whether Mr. Seaton or Mr. Bryson is the father, it has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Bryson.
Thank you.
Where was you all your life?
You lie. I never once.
Okay. Just hug your daughter.
Okay. Told you. Knew it.
You can stay with
Why
your
did
daughter.
you lie?
Because he had a chance to have the DNA.
It doesn't matter what he had. You had a chance for 32 years to tell the truth, and you chose to keep
Well,
telling
because
that
I
same
100%
lie.
believe Jesse was your father.
All right, listen, let's not ruin a beautiful moment for Miss Seaton, where she finally knows for certain who her biological father is. Sometimes you just gotta find the magic in all the mess. Sometimes you gotta wade through all the mess to get to the miracle. You just gotta do it. We've all been there. Take the miracle. You're standing next to your daddy.
And for 30 years, I was denied a relationship with him because of her lies.
And that's
But Your Honor, I'm not even hurt about that. I'm more hurt at the fact that this man died thinking I was his only daughter.
You know, and listen, Miss Seaton, you keep repeating that and repeating that and repeating that, and I want to say this to you respectfully with love. I don't believe that's a terrible way to leave this earth, thinking you have another beautiful child. He is resting in peace. You're the one that's not at peace.
And I'm not.
And that's what I'm saying to you. Don't project that onto Mr. Seaton. He's in his resting place. We're trying to get your soul at rest. Ms. McMahon and Ms. Wilridge, in your previous appearance in our courtroom, you learned your deceased dad had kept a secret from you your entire lives.
Yes, Your Honor.
It turns out that he had cheated on your mother, and you discovered that a good friend of yours was actually your biological sister.
Yes, Your Honor.
Today, you're back because you say your father may have had an affair with yet another woman.
Correct, Your Honor.
We'll soon learn if her son is your biological brother.
Yes.
Miss Swan, you're the woman who claims to have had an affair with their father. You admit that you kept it a secret because he was a married man.
Yes, Your Honor.
You believe your son was a result of that relationship and he is indeed their brother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your son, Mr. Williams, is waiting outside of the courtroom and we'll meet him in just a moment. Ms. McMahon, how did you find out that you may have a brother you never knew of?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, back in 1999, I was shown a picture. I was at someone that we considered a cousin because we were so close growing up. We were at their house and I was shown a picture of a little boy. I think he probably had to be about 7 at that time. I was told that it was my brother. I looked at the picture, but I didn't see any resemblance. So at that time, I just passed it off as something that they were trying to say, and I never thought about it again. But in 2001, there was someone that showed up at my mom's house, and he claimed to be my dad's son. And at that particular time, I was not at the house at the time, but my other sisters and my mom got a chance to meet and talk to him. And my sister Gloria was there, and she actually got a chance to meet him.
Yes,
You
Your Honor.
did. Ms. Wilridge, explain what happened on that day.
Well, a few days before we did see him, my sister had said, well, we think possibly this guy could be your brother. So the next few days, he came over to my oldest sister's house, and he met my oldest sister and my mom, and I kind of hung in the back a little bit, and then I went out and I greeted him. When I first seen him, he didn't have any similarities of my father. So they sat and we talked a while in the living room, and we had a little conversation, and he left. And from then on, I just kind of let it go. It didn't really come back to me until, just now.
And in your mind, your parents were a happily married couple.
That's
That's
right,
what you knew.
That's
Well,
right.
ma'am, Your Honor, we were young. We knew that there were problems, but we were too young to understand the full spectrum of what had been going on. We have heard that he could have been sleeping with another woman, but we didn't know about Miss Swan.
Miss Swan,
Yes, Your Honor.
so you did have a relationship with their father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know he was married?
Yes, Your Honor, because when we first met one another, he told me he was married.
But why would you still mess with a
And
married
I told-
man? Why would you do that?
And
That's
not only
just
was he
low.
not only was he a married man, but you were also messing with a guy that you knew was messing with your neighbor,
friend, your
and that was your
neighbor.
friend, and that was just like, you sleeping behind with a married man, and you sleeping behind your friend's man or your neighbor man. Why would you do such a thing as being a woman?
But see, I know he was married, but I didn't know he was sleeping around with no other woman or nothing.
But
All that didn't come up in
well,
no
you said when
conversation.
the relationship started, you did know he was married.
Yeah, he told me he was married.
Okay, and you
And
still.
so
Decided to
then
have-
a sexual relationship developed.
Not at the first. Not
Okay.
at the first.
Explain, how did it turn into a sexual relationship?
Way
With you.
a good while. It was a long time before we had any relationship. I say about a month passed or something like that. It passed, and that's what after that.
A month. So do you feel bad for what you've done to a family, a wife, a good wife,
A good wife.
wife who cooked, cleaned, took care of her kids? Do you feel any remorse for what you've done,
Knowing that he was married.
knowing that he was married?
That part didn't even bother me.
Yeah.
And you was of age
that's
where it
why
should have,
You're
you
not
know,
a
you're not-
decent
wasn't a
woman.
child.
You were just low down and dirty and trifling.
So
That's
hold
what
on.
you were, and apparently you still are that way if you don't have no remorse for what you've done.
Hold on, Miss Swan. You said that part didn't bother you.
No, the reason I said that is because once, okay, you told, a married man told you he was married. Okay, I didn't keep on after the man.
But as a woman,
you could
you
say
knew
no.
he was married.
And
you
I
could have
just-
turned away.
You could even told my
If you
mom.
were decent,
hey,
you would have-
well,
you
I
ain't
ain't
know
know
what
So,
me.
Miss Swan, how many years did this affair last?
Year and a half.
About a
Oh,
year and a half.
Ma'am, I don't know. You go from one extreme to the other because from what I've heard was 29 years. I heard 10 years. Now it's a year and a half. You have to make up your mind as to how long
I
this
know the
affair
affair
lasted.
was.
And I don't know.
The affair lasted a while. That's all I can say. Because I can't remember the years and how long it was. I don't remember none of that.
So you attempted to name your son after their father.
Right.
Well, you didn't attempt, you did. You named him Ellis.
Right.
And that was their father's name.
Right.
And so when was the last time you saw their father?
The last time I saw their father, he left my house and he got towards the driveway. And he got out of his car and told me he'll see me in heaven. And that was the end of it. That's the last time I seen him.
He'd see you in heaven.
Well, I don't think y'all gonna
And-
be in heaven.
Yeah.
I don't think. And you said you're not remorseful. I don't
And the
think you're
thing
gonna
is-
meet. Y'all meet somewhere, but it won't be in heaven.
Yeah, and I think that the thing was that he was kind of feeling remorseful for the things that he was doing, and that's why he kind of like
And so,
gave up living.
in what proximity was the last time you saw him till when he passed away?
That night,
That night.
because that night when he left my house, a friend of mine came by and told me he was dead.
Well, he didn't die at night.
my dad
He
was found
he was found
deceased at 5:30 in the
yes.
morning.
Oh, well.
My mom was getting up to fix him breakfast, and she thought that he was just staying there, sleeping in.
Well,
and when
I
she
ain't
went to
know
go
that.
wake him up and tell him that breakfast was ready, my dad had passed. I think it came to him to where he was emotionally drained. That's what some of his friends was telling us, like he was emotionally drained and he felt that his time was up.
Yes, I just believe that all of his busy work had really gotten to
It
him.
caught up with him.
It caught up to him.
So, Miss Swan, did your son ever meet the man you say is his father?
No,
Never met him.
no.
And so you're destroying more lives. You
Yeah.
pretty much let him
So
meet his
how
dad.
old
that he
was-
claimed to be his dad.
I didn't stop him from not meeting his daddy.
Okay, so Miss Swan, I have to ask you, and this is respectfully, but were you intimate with anyone else during the time you were intimate with their father, where there could potentially be another biological father of your son?
Not that no, ma'am.
Well, Your Honor, she's saying no, but if she's sleeping with a married man, she didn't think enough to be respectful of herself and sleep with a married man. I can guarantee you that there may be more men if she's sleeping with
bring
married
out
men
your son.
and thinking that it's
Jerome,
okay
will
to do
you please
so.
escort Mr. Williams into the courtroom? Thank you.
You go right up here on the left.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
thank you so much for joining us today. You know, we're here discussing, of course, the very sensitive subject surrounding your paternity and the plaintiff's late father. It is asserted that he is perhaps your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we asked your mother, had you ever had an opportunity to meet this man?
I remember certain things of him, but I don't remember too much. I remember the van that he had, and I remember riding in this van and some noises they used to make with the little horns and everything, but
My dad fixed on cars, and he used to modify all his vehicles. That was one of his things. He used to build things, very handy person. So that van, that big green van, you're right.
Yes.
So the van he's
That
speaking
is
of,
correct.
it was your father's.
Yes.
When you look at Mr. Williams,
Wow.
do you see your father?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And you know, Your Honor, I can't really tell you how I feel about it because in a point,
I know.
Well,
hon.
Your Honor, I would just like to say that
I'm angry that she had an affair.
that he had an affair on my mom because that's the only person that hurt here. But at the same time, when he came in 2001, my mom accepted him. She said that that was not his fault.
Yeah, she was
You
just
know,
like he was an
she
innocent
accepted
child.
him
She was
because
okay with
she
it.
said he was innocent in his whole thing. I've never gotten a chance to meet him.
Yeah, and that's a shame because we had to grow. We grew up without, and we're 30-something years old. We already done lost a sister, and now, you know, we
finding
have to
all of
have
this
a
information
relationship now
out.
and start right now. And there's too much time that already done been passed, you know, and it's not our fault.
No, it isn't.
We
It's
didn't
not.
know, and it's not his
Mr.
fault.
Williams, did you ever have the chance to bond or to find a connection with your late father?
I always talk to him in my head. I used to go to his gravesite and sit there a lot.
You did.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So you went to his grave.
Yeah, I went a lot.
So this was, I'm sure, very emotional. Did your mother go with you?
Nah, not at the times I was going.
Did she know you were going?
Yeah, I done told her a couple times.
And that would help you feel closer to him?
Yeah, like I say, I always talk to him in my head, and you know, I know it's someone up there watching over me. So,
And they say you look like their father. Do you believe you look like?
my mother used to tell me that all the time, but I don't remember his face or nothing.
You don't remember his face?
He
Have
got
you
his
ever
mouth.
seen a picture of him?
No, ma'am.
He has
You've
his
never.
ears for
He
sure.
has his
In
ears, his
32
mouth.
years, you've never in 32 years seen a picture of your father.
Wow. You robbed him. You really did.
Yes, I did, because I didn't have no pictures of him, and that was my fault, because on one of my faults, because I didn't take no picture of him, but he never did like taking no pictures. He never did like
But
taking
you
no
could
pictures.
at least came to us. You knew who my mom was. You knew who the people was.
I didn't
even
know
though it
your
was a
mama. I did not know
it's-
your mama.
You knew my mama. You knew my mama face. You didn't see my mama.
No,
You done been in her company, and
I probably been in her company, but I didn't know that's who it
You knew
was.
how to get in touch with us. You could have got in touch with us. You know what I'm saying? Even though it seemed like it wasn't a mistake to you, you don't feel any remorse for it, but you could have been like, there's a possibility more than what he done. He came to us.
So, as you stand there and the plaintiffs look at you and say you look just like their father, would you like to see a picture of the man
Oh.
that you believe is your father?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMahon, Ms. Wilridge, is that okay?
That's
Because you
fine.
submitted
That is
one to
fine.
the court.
He needs to.
He need to.
Okay.
Look at that mouth.
Look at the ears.
Look at the ears.
You see yourself in that picture?
I don't think so. I really.
Yeah, I do. He probably don't. You know what I'm saying? This is a whole lot to soak in, but I do.
How do you feel?
It's the first time. It's a lot going on inside of me right now.
Yeah, it has to be, you know.
I wish she was here.
Yeah.
But it's nothing that I could take from her for what she done for me. She bent over backwards for anything that I needed or wanted.
And as a mother, that's what she was supposed to do.
Jerome, I think it's time we go to the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. It has been determined by this court that you are half siblings.
You knew it. Now he needs to go get his name changed. He's a junior. He's the only boy.
The only boy.
The only boy
that we know of.
So how does it feel today, Mr. Williams?
It's a lot lifted off of me. Now I know for sure, and I really would like to have a copy of that picture.
Absolutely.
All of the pictures that we have, we can make you copies. I can put them on CD for you, everything.
Yeah.
And we want you to come by.
Yeah.
We want you to keep in contact. We want everything.
I get to have somebody to pick on. Don't you know I've been picked on for so many years? I get to have somebody to pick on.
But not by me.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Well, family, this was such a wonderful ending.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you.
Yes.
Take care. Court is adjourned.
Thank you.